Good evening, everyone. How are you? I'm going to give it a few minutes and let some people get on. Hope everyone's doing well tonight. How are you guys doing? Say something if you're out there. Comment. Hey, Miss Lucy. Thanks for popping on. We got Teresa and we got Robin. Hi there, guys. Hi. Feels like I haven't been on here forever. A lot going on. So, tonight we are going to talk about the new premium stencil brushes, which I'm excited about. They're softer and I think you'll really like them. Um, so I'm going to just hang out for just a minute, and we've got some other people popping on. Janet, Lucy, Patricia, Marie. Hey, Miss Jenny. How are you? Donna's on. Gilbert. Hey there. Hi there. All right, so tonight is the stencil brushes. So I'm going to show you some pieces that I've done. I've done them with our other stencil brushes, and I've done it with these also. I like these because they're softer. They're softer on the stencil itself and softer on the surface. So depending on what you're working on, like for fabric, they would be great through stencils or just to apply any type of product and stuff. So I'm going to switch my camera to overhead, hopefully. Of course, it didn't work. Why not? Let's see if that'll work. Oh, that'll be lovely if we can't go to the overhead. Why are... There we go. Okay. All right. So here's some that I've done on past tutorials. But there again, I've got some more that I'm going to show you with these particular brushes. So they just are a nice soft look. I'm going to start with ceramics, and I'm going to show you some on ceramics, and then I'm going to move to other things. And yes, my acrylic people, you're going to be happy because I did bring some palette, some canvas paper over, and I'm going to show them on canvas also. So we're going to do ceramics, we're going to do glass, and then we'll do acrylics at the end. Okay, so that's my plan. I've got a bunch of things already lined up here. I had some plates that were chipped, and I thought, well, you know what, I'll just use those as a demonstration. So this happens to be a free form stencil that doesn't have an edge like this guy here. Okay, so if you have something like that, what I did was I taped around it so that I'm not going to get my stenciling out onto the rest of the surface to protect it. Okay, so that's one little key to doing that. The other is a shop towel. I think that's essential. Paper towels, there's too much fuzz that comes off on it, so I would use a shop towel if at all possible when you're doing this. And I am by myself, so it's going to be hard for me to look up and see questions, but I'll try to catch them or go back and answer. So welcome everyone that's joining in. So I've got a butterfly here. So let's just start with it. I'm going to use my color concentrates. The same principles work on whatever surface you're going to work on. Okay, same idea. So in that set, we have 4 brushes. You can buy them as a set or you can buy them individually. So we've got a 12, 14, 16, and a 20. And it's almost like a nylon type. It's a synthetic nylon. And nylon is what we use a lot on fabric painting. So that's why I think they'll be great for fabric. I did not bring a fabric back here, but canvas is a type of fabric. So we will explore that in a bit. Okay. Hey everybody that's joining on. I am by myself, so bear with me as far as trying to answer any questions. So I'm going to put out 123 Sunflowers, 116 Florida Orange. I'm going to go in an Ombre effect, and then I'm going to go to Candy Apple Red. Same thing would apply to acrylics, okay? And what I'm going to do is do my palette cam and my overhead, I hope. For some reason, my switch is not working, but we'll try it. There we go. All right. So I like to use the palette that has a center in it so that I can do what I need to do. So I'm going to start with the larger brush. This is the 20. And I'm going to load it by just tipping it in the color and then pounce it onto the surface over here. And then I'm going to wipe some of it out, okay, to get the wet or the dampness off is what you're trying to do. And I'm going to go in a circular motion and I'm going to rotate right and left. So both directions. That ensures that you're going to get in the edges of the stencil going one direction and going the other, okay? And I need to move this over so that you can see. Forgot about that other camera. All right, I think you can see that. Yeah. All right. So rotate to the right, rotate to the left. And you can see I don't have a lot of color on there. Okay, it's just got very little on the shop towel. Go over to the other side, circle to the right, circle to the left. And I just kind of do it in that one spot till I've got both right and left done to make sure I've covered those areas. So now we're going to light and we're going to go to dark to the middle. I'm not going to rinse the brush. I'm just going to pick up that orange a couple of times and take some of that off and just circle to the right, circle to the left. I do have this with painter's tape, but I am holding it in position with my fingers just in case it would happen to slip. Okay, so let me show you what that looks like. Okay, you can kind of see that. Okay, I'm going to rub that back down so it's there. And then grab some more to go to the other side. Hey, Luann, glad you made it. So circle to the right, circle to the left. So this is the series 1428 stencil brushes that I put on Facebook the other day. You can buy them as a set or you can buy them individually. They are on sale, like big time sale. I know some of you have already ordered them, and if you have, they've already went out in the mail. We got them right out the next day. Okay. Hi, Christine from Eustis, Texas. Where is Eustis? I know where Euless is, but not Eustis. You would think I would, as long as I've lived here. Now I just dipped into the 112 Candy Apple Red, and those of you that just joined, I'm just using a plate that was damaged. I figured it was great to just show some techniques on. So don't freak out with my plate that's broken there, okay? All right, let me check over on Facebook to make sure I don't see any questions. Okay, so to the right, to the left. The more times you go over it, the darker it's going to be. I mean, that's just with anything. And currently I'm using our color concentrates or CC enhancers if you work on glass. Okay, let's lift it and look at it again so you can see that it's a nice, pretty color. And I can bring that red right into the middle. And I can even go over the antennae because I can come back with black. So I'm going over that center a couple of times, and let's say 3 or 4 times, because I want to make sure that I've got that covered. I'm going to switch to a smaller brush for a smaller area. I'm going to grab some of the CC 101 Cobalt Black and do that area. So this would work. You're so excited. I'm excited you're here. Load that, rub it off, and then you can just, with the smaller brush, get in smaller areas. Okay, you can even kind of take it on its edge if you needed to get into there. You can also sweep it, or you can tap with the brush because it's so soft. It makes it nice. See, I can tap in there. All right, so you can pick it up and kind of look at it. Okay, you could also come back and say, you know what, I want some of these areas over here to have black on them, or even if I wanted to go back to the red, load that again, and maybe I wanted this corner to have a red area, and up here. Okay, and then you can lift it off. So you can see that it's a nice. Now, it did kind of weep out a little bit, but you can take a brush and you can, let me find the one I want. I'm going to take the 2200 number 8 square shader. I'm going to water load it, blot it. So for my ceramic people, because the CCs have a gel base, you could sit here and shimmy it back and forth. Or if you have the diamond core tools, this is the L3, you could come in here and you can actually scrape off any of that excess and it would remove it for you. The diamond core tools are really nice. This piece happens to be just earthenware bisque, but it would be the same principle on any, whether you're on stoneware or on earthenware. Okay, so any questions about that so far? I'm going to grab a different piece here. This is a wine caddy. Gosh, I used to do hundreds of these when I did finished ware years and years ago. So I thought, well, why not put something on there? I thought that would be kind of cool to do. So because I have this color in here, I try to stay with the same color family. So that's another reason why you might want the whole set of 4, is because then you can switch back and forth to different colors. Okay, and I think I'm going to go to the ceruleans, my favorite. Remember, with your color concentrates, we'll do a couple of ceramics, then I'm going to do some on glass. Always shake your colors. They are thixotropic, meaning they congeal and they're just thick in there. So the more you agitate them, they become more liquid. So I'm using 150 cerulean, 151, excuse me, light cerulean, and 151 cerulean, and 152 deep cerulean. Okay. All right, so let me look and see if we've got any questions. Hi, everyone. If you just joined us on Facebook, welcome, welcome. Hey, Miss Cindy. Cindy Lay, you be careful down there. I hope that's not headed your way. She's in Tampa, Florida. I was just going to message you before we went on, and I got busy with other things that happened. So, all right, so I'm just going to clean out the center of my well so that I have room to do my blending. Okay, and I am going to wipe that dry because you don't want anything wet to you don't want to make your colors wetter than what they are, because then it's going to wet your brush and you don't want that. So take off a little bit. Once again, I'm going to start out on the outer edge. This particular stencil has a lot of little tiny areas, so I have to kind of hold it down. Tap it in, take some off, turn to the right, turn to the left. So what I'm doing is just making that outer edge a blue. Okay, and when you put the painter's tape on these type of stencils, they last, the tape lasts a long time. I did this months and months ago. Yes, they stick together, but you can still come back and use them. So circle to the right, circle to the left. Now, different bisque, depending on what cone it has been fired to, may be harder and more vitreous or more porous. If it's more porous, then the color is going to absorb better. Okay, this is 04 cast bisque that I'm working on this particular piece. So circle to the right, circle to the left. I'm starting out with the light cerulean, and then I'm going to go to the other two. Turn your work so that you can keep your stencil down on the piece. You can tap the color on through the stencil if you need to, or you can do the circular motion. So without washing, I'm going into the second blue or the medium color and do the same thing. I'm going to overlap those colors when you're doing what's called that ombre effect. You want to start with one and then gradually get darker, is the rule of thumb, or my rule of thumb anyway. And then you overlap those colors so that they look like it's a gradual transition from one to the other. So it doesn't matter what color family you're working in, same principle. would apply. And that works for glass, works for acrylics. It's just an easy way to work with a color family, going from light to dark. Because you can always add more on if you need it. It's harder to get the dark off, right? Everybody knows that, right? Hey, Linda, you found me. We are even getting ready for, oh, Robin is in Georgia and they're getting ready for the possible weather due to the hurricane. Tell you how up on things I am. I didn't even know there was one coming until something ran across my phone today. I'm like, I've been a little busy, just a wee bit. All right, let's check it. So see, you've got different colors going from one to, it almost gives you an airbrush look where you can fade from one color to the next. And I think that's probably why I like it. And you can airbrush with these colors. But tonight we're using the premium stencil brushes. This is the series 1428. And all you have to do is type in, actually, if you're on YouTube, I pinned the link at the top. And if you're not, you just go out to the website, go to the search bar and type in stencil. And anything to do with the stencil will pop up. So I'm going to tap it also. I can come back and add more. Every layer, multiple thin layers is better than one thick, heavy layer in anything you're doing. I don't care what medium you're working with. That is my philosophy. Anyway, you can also take and you can feather that color across the stencils to give you more lined or striations going out from the center. You won't really see it as much. And I don't think I'm going to put any black. I'm going to leave that like that. So we're going to take that off so you can see that one. So that's kind of a fun way to do, you know, even though it's an odd shape and it's a wine caddy, this also can be a trivet. Then you can come in and you can add some of your brush strokes around. See, I've taken and added strokes out here, or I framed the butterfly or the flowers. Okay, so that gives you some ideas. Okay, any questions about that? Hi, Robin and Robin. We got two Robins on YouTube. All right. Hey, Brenda, how are you? Join late. Yeah, so is there a rule of thumb, Luann asked, regarding how many different colors to use on a piece? No, I think it would depend on your color palette you have. So you could start out with a yellow, go to a golden yellow, go to an orange, go to a red. And it would also, Luann, depend on how large of a stencil you're working with, how much room you have to work with. So if you're going to use a large brush, you can see that's going to cover more ground. So determine the size stencil brush based upon your stencil size. So because I was doing this one and I wanted 3 colors at least, then I used a smaller one. This happens to be the number 16 that's in that set. So does it matter? I would say 3 definitely as a rule of thumb, but you could go 5. I'm not sure I'd go more than 5. It depends on how large. If it's a, say, a 12 by 12, absolutely. You could go, you know, you could do rainbow colors and go 7 or 8. So any of that would work for sure. That's a great question, though. Thank you for asking that. Anybody else got any questions? Hey, Gilbert, you're just the wizard. Thank you. Gilbert has put a link on Facebook. Since I am by myself, it's hard to do. I appreciate you doing that. Thank you. Thank you. Let me make sure there wasn't any other questions. Going to be a lot of rain in Tampa. Okay. Well, be careful. I'm thinking about you. Okay. All right. So, I mean, you can even take that same stencil. You could hold it down and do a partial pattern, you know, coming in from the edge if you wanted. That's what's nice about these because they're not squared. So you could just hold it right there and let's just say I want that dark color. Since this is a bum plate, we're not going to worry about it. So circle to the right, circle to the left. That ensures that you fill in all of those holes and detail of your stencil. Okay. circle to the right, circle to the left. If it starts showing where you don't have a lot showing, then go back and grab some more and reload. You're taking off the excess moisture on the shop towel. And if you missed the beginning versus a paper towel has a lot of fuzz to it. Your shop towels don't break down as easy, and you'll get a better finish and not transfer any of that. But see, you can even do just a partial. And this is a coupe plate, so it's easy to do with these type stencils. We still have a few stencils on the website. I'm not going to stock those anymore. I'm trying to reduce inventory, so whatever's there is there. If you can't find something you like, there's always, Temu. I've got a bunch from them. Mike Harbridge, fired claypuzzling.com. He has a lot on his website. I'm going to switch out and go to glass real quick. Well, not necessarily quick, but okay. So this is a piece of glass. This is, I can't get a hold of it. White glass, two pieces that have been fused together, and then I did my prismatic textured sand base on it. So it's poured, it's dried, and I have this little doily type stencil. And this is a stencil from, Robin, help me out, CD Wood Covered Distributing. I think it's one of theirs. They have them in a couple of different sizes, but I thought, ooh, wouldn't that be fun? And then this is where you could tape the edge if you wanted, or if you want it to go over the edge a little bit, you can do that also. So I'm going to go to that 14, and I just want this really soft in the middle. So I'm going to go back to the lighter blue, the light cerulean, and I'm going to do the whole thing. Now this is textured. It's got the prismatic textured sand mix or base to it. So there's a lot of texture. There's sand in there, okay? So you have to kind of go over it multiple times just to kind of get it to fill in all the little crevices. Would this method work on glass as well? Yes, this is glass. If you're asking about straight to glass, I can flip it over and do it on the other side. Absolutely. Okay. Be happy to do that. It depends on the product that you're using, Christy. So tell me what you're doing. Like I said, this is my prismatic textured sand base. Okay. And I'm going to switch to the... I say I'm going to switch. Of course it won't. I'm going to go to the side. Oh, it did. Okay. So you can kind of see the motion. Okay. So a circle to the right, circle to the left. So Christy, tell me what you're working with. What type of products is what I need to know. Are you working with my products, like the color concentrates? Are you an acrylic person? Because it's hard for me. I have so many from different mediums. It's hard to keep track of. cdwood.com, right, Robin? Yeah, it has these little doilies. And I believe there's a 6-inch size now, if I remember right. This is like, I think this is the 4. Yeah, this is the 4-inch size because I'm on an 8-inch circle. Okay. All right, so I'm going to do the inside of it first, constantly loading and wiping off on that shop towel. And remember, the shop towel is better because it doesn't have all that fuzzy to it, and you don't pick it up on your brush and then transfer it to your piece and then have to pick it off. So my preference is the shop towel, personally. I find that works best for the different mediums that I work in. So Robin says, yes, they do have a 6-inch one also, and they have, I believe, 4 or 5 different versions of it. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, I'm going to just feather out over that edge a little bit, which will give me like a halo, but I do still need to keep loading. So I'm pushing away. I see an area I didn't get. So I'm pushing away or feathering, and it's going to give an airbrushed look. I don't know what else I'm going to do with this piece later, but I'll figure that out. So if I lift this up, if I can, see that? Isn't that pretty? You can kind of see it there. And it almost looks like it's airbrushed off to the side. Okay. Does this technique work with my enamels? You know, if you're on this prismatic base, this is an enamel prismatic sand and layering mix on this base. So as long as it's dried, yes, this is the best. With regular enamels, you really need something for it to grab to. And this is the CC enhancers in the glass world, or the color concentrates. Same product, we just call it a different name or refer to it as a different name. So if you had this base, Lynn, yes, you could do the enamels on it. Now, CCs, or the color concentrates, okay, these are cheaper. I'm just gonna, and they're gonna go a lot further, okay, a lot further. So if it were me, this is what I would be using. And you could stencil directly on the glass. I'll do that on the back of this in just a second. Let's get this edge out here. So I'm just feathering out as I go around, and I think you can kind of see that halo around there. Okay, let's switch back up to the top. So see that? You can kind of, I taped it down with painter's tape in the middle. All right, so I'm going to reveal. You ready? Let's take, and I did put one on here that's like a little handle. You see that? Looky there. Isn't that pretty? It's just like a little doily in the middle. And then I could do brush strokes, or you could do a dot design, or you could take, and you could even come back and you could go around the edge. Now see, what I would do is I would line these up and look at it, and then I would go to, I'm going to go to the 151, and I could sit and do this out here. Circle to the right, circle to the left, constantly changing directions so that you ensure you get it inside the entire design of the stencil. Now I don't have this taped down, so I'm having to hold on to it. But if you are not a painter, this is a great way to get a really nice design. It doesn't matter what the stencil is. But so if I were going to keep doing that, I would come over here and I would do the same thing. And then I would see if I could get two, which I think I could, in between. That's what I would do on that one. Do make sure, because I just noticed some of the color was on the back side. So it's a good idea to kind of blot that before you take it and move it to another area, just so you don't transfer the color. Okay. But see how I just folded a piece of painter's tape, and that way you have a handle to whatever you're working with. And then you can change that easily and get it off of there easily. Okay. I got blue everywhere. All right, tell us about the color concentrate kits, please. Sure, the color concentrate, I don't have, let me look. I do not have one here, but hold on, with the magic, let's see if this will come up. So there's, yeah, I don't have the kits. Oh, here. There we go. So there are the, down here on the bottom, CC Enhancer Kit number 1, 2, and 3. So we have 41 colors in the concentrates, and I'll show you the 2 different sizes. They come in 1 ounce and 2 ounce, and you can buy them individually with the 14 colors and then 13 on the last one, or you can buy the whole set of 41. Okay, and let me show you. So if I can get it, it's just slow about switching. So here's your 1 ounce size, here's your 2 ounce size, and then we have pints also. So it just depends on the color palette, what you like. Kit number 1 is the most popular. We also have a ceramic underglaze sampler kit. If you go to the color concentrate page, which I can show you that with the A little bit of magic here. Let's see if it'll go to it. Slowly, but it is, hopefully. No. Oh, there it is. It's just slow about coming up. So if you go to the website and you scroll down and you click on ceramic products, these are buttons on the home page. It's just taking a minute to work. And then you go to color concentrates over here on the left-hand side menu. It will take you to the concentrate page. So there's different kits. So there's a 41, there's the 3 I was showing you. And then if you scroll down, you can do individual colors. And then I think on page 2 is, it could be page 3. No, there it is. So this particular, this is the underglaze sampler kit. It does have like all your primary type colors in it. It also comes with a pint of our clear glaze, which is only for earthenware, but I do a lot of blending techniques on stoneware and porcelain with that. Okay, so that's a really good one to get. All right. All right, back to the overhead. So you understand how you can use bits and pieces and that type of stuff. So this is a textured base that I had on here. This is the prismatic textured base. Okay, let me double check for questions. I think Lucy and Robin are having a separate conversation out there. So hopefully that tells you, you can always message me, Lynn. I hope I'm saying that. It's Lynn with an R, so I'm not sure if I'm saying that correctly or not. But you can always message me any questions too. Do we need a kiln to use these paints? Yes, Deborah, these particular ones are for my fired people, but I'm going to show you acrylics in just a minute, okay? So you see you can do it on glass. I showed you the ceramic surfaces, okay? Depending on what you, so these are all the color concentrates. There's 41 colors in this, and you do have to have, now I say that, a kiln. There's a couple of things you can do without a kiln, but I don't want to confuse everybody tonight, so we're not going to go there, Deborah, okay? Okay. Lots of feed. Dawn, I'm not sure what that is. Hey, Ginger. Maybe Facebook, you know, I'm lucky it's even on Facebook. There's so many people that's having issues, okay? So like this big piece here is green glass, and then I put that prismatic textured sand base on it, and I drew my lines with pencils so that I could come in here with something like this if I wanted to do it 4 times around, or maybe if I wanted to make sure these were exactly centered on the corner. That's a great way to do it. So just keep that in mind depending on what stencil you're using and what shape. There's always ways to make sure that you're centered and you're just not winging it, so to speak. Okay. You sure are saying, oh, I'm saying it right. Okay. I already have the brushes in my basket. Awesome. We have the other set of brushes, but they're a traditional stencil. They're a hog hair. Okay, so they're a harsh hair. And that's what's in the craft market. These are a little bit better. This set is the 1320s. They're not as a set, they're individual out there, but I do have those also if you're looking for a little bit harsher surface. Okay. All right, so I told, any questions about the ceramic or the glass before I move on to some acrylic? I thought I'd surprise. Oh, I know what else I want to show you. Hold on. So here's like, and I don't know that you can see it, but in the background, this prismatic one, there is a stencil that's kind of this ivory colored. It's hard to see, but I got to thinking, here is another option. What about putting it on thin fire paper? Because guess what? Why not? We paint, we stamp, we brushstroke on. So this is your bullseye paper. So you could take and set a stencil on here and do the same. I'll just do a partial. The same type of thing. and then fuse it between glass like I did this piece here. Okay, so that is paper that's fused between glass, and I have tons of videos out there showing all of those. Just color concentrates. There's playlists for color concentrates on glass, and it will be listed there if you just go look at that. But look at that, guys. I mean, how fun would that be to fuse between the glass, and you've got a whole nother design. You can come back and you can do brush strokes on top of that if you wanted, by just taking a different color, and you could come in here and come around and add some detail. I mean, there's just so many things. You could even, let me think how I want to do that. You could come from this way and come straight out, and that would be really nice. That's just a pressure stroke. This is the 3600 number 2 liner that I use on most of my videos. But so very simple for anybody that doesn't paint and they think, oh, I can't paint, I can't do that, I can't do it. Yeah, you can. You can stencil. You could fuse it between glass. This was stamped and then painted, all color concentrates. Same thing here. There is a cheat sheet on the website. If you go to the CC Enhancer page and then go down below, and there's like 6 PDFs. There's firing schedules and quick reference guide, or cheat sheets I call them, are all there. So that's a whole nother option for you. Something simple. The best paints. Thank you, Dawn. I'm glad you like them. Will it work on just plain glass? Okay, so, and Donna says, can you stencil directly onto the glass without the prismatic sand? Let's do it. Let's see what we can do. Let's take the red so that we can, let me grab one of the stencils. Let me grab that butterfly that I had here. So I'm still using color concentrates. I'm going to go back to the red, and I'm just going to do red. Okay. Now, there's nothing for it to grab to. Okay, Donna? So it's not going to grab like the rest does. But let's say you did a pour. You wouldn't even have to do the sand. Do your enamel pour with whatever colors you want, and then you could stencil on top of it. Because remember, layering mix is what we're talking about now. The layering mix, basically what it means is you can layer on top. So once you've done your pour, it's hard, it's dry, you can come back on top of it and do whatever you want, and you can keep layering and layering and layering and layering. We sell it in the pints and the 8-ounce. Okay, so this is just directly on glass. So yes, you could. Is it as nice? Well, on white it would be, but you're not going to get a solid application because this is vitreous, meaning nothing can absorb into it. So it just sits on the surface. It can't absorb like it can do on canvas or wood or the prismatic or on the greenware or on bisque. It's just sitting on the surface. But yes, it could be done. Have you ever done multi-large on glass before full fusing them? As far as the stencils, I have done I have a hydrangea project that is 6 layers, and it's using the De-Zigners, our De-Zigners, that I do brush strokes with. It's out there. If you just type in hydrangea on the website, you can find it. There's a video tutorial you can download, or you can just do the PDF, either way. But I give you the firing schedules, step-by-step photos. And if you guys have never bought a packet, I give you a lot of information. Okay, there's so much information in it, because I never know when I'm only going to touch your hands once, meaning you may buy one packet. You need to get all the information. So you've got technique information, you've got brush information, you got brush strokes if it includes brush strokes. I just did 3 webinars of some of the pieces that I taught at the Wisconsin show, and those are now up for replay. You can go purchase those and do that. Those are ceramic, and there is the hummingbird that I posted just a little bit ago. It's a beginner glass, but it's kind of a faux stained glass, and lots of information. It's basic techniques, but you can take all of that and run with it. So you can buy it just as a PDF, or you can buy videos to download with them. And the videos, or it takes you to an unlisted channel on my YouTube and you watch them there. So it works. It works. Thank you, Miss Teresa. Teresa says she loves the packets, and Angela loves the butterfly. Yeah, I don't think we have any of the butterfly ones left. We may have a couple, but Christy Robin says that she said she uses the concentrates. She's used fused glass person. Okay, thank you, Robin. So yeah, you just need to find a surface. But if you do an enamel pour, Christy, you can do an enamel and the layering mix. Do your pour on your glass. Let it harden overnight and dry, and then you can stencil to your heart's content. And I have one out there that I did, a rectangle piece that there's a video on it where I did a stencil in the background, and then I transferred a pattern to it, and then I did some sumi shading and did some flowers in the corners, if I remember correctly. Okay. Let me check YouTube. This is why I love CFE. So many different ways to use it. Yes, Donna. There, that's one thing that by the way, today is Colors for Earth anniversary. 17 years ago, I bought the company. And that's one thing I swore, that instead of coming out with new products all the time, I try to show you different uses for your products, because I wished I'd had that when I was in the industry and you went to take a class and you use a quarter size of that 2-ounce bottle of paint. So I try to give you all different types of uses. So out on YouTube, if you're not familiar, there are playlists. Some people don't even know they exist. So if you go to my channel, and I'm going to flip over there real quick to show you, hopefully it'll change. Maybe, maybe not. My buttons aren't working tonight. Let's do it the manual way here. See if there we go. Hopefully. It's not. Oh, there it is. Okay, so see right, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 over. It says playlist. You got home, videos, shorts, live, playlist. So if you go to the playlist, okay, it's going to take you, and I don't remember if this is interactive or not. I think it is. Yes. So there's all the playlist. Can you see those? So the first one, color strokes on fused glass, prismatic, underglaze transfers, ceramic, color concentrates on ceramic, bubble art. So those are all playlists, and they have multiple videos. You can just click on that and then go watch and pick out the ones you want. It'll show you a photo and you can look at the descriptions. Okay, so that's another use. Don't forget to subscribe if you're not subscribed to the YouTube channel, and ring the bell so you get notifications when I go live. Okay. Hey, that button worked. Amazing. I'm amazed anything's working after being gone for a while. So, and thanks everybody for your support with everything that's happened over the last couple of weeks. I appreciate all of you. Okay. All right. Thanks, Miss Lucy. Yeah, 17 years. Can you believe that? Crazy. It seems like yesterday. So I'm going to go back to the overhead. Hopefully it'll work. And we're going to do, okay. So let me get this out of the way and take care of my acrylic people. All right, so I have a canvas pad here. And look at there, I already have a stencil in there. Amazing. And I did not bring a palette for acrylics, so I'm going to have to do it on my other one. And then I'll have to just rinse it out. All right, so I have got here some, now I'm switching, guys, so all of you that have just popped on, I'm going to show the people that are doing, and I'm going to have to use a bigger brush because it's the only one I've got left, guys. Okay, multi-surface acrylics by Plaid Folk Art. Always shake, just like mine, shake it so that they all separate. Okay, this color is magenta, and I've got berry wine. These are two of my favorite. Hopefully this has still got some in it. Won't take very much of it. And then I'm going to put out some wicker white. And some of you were asking about is that a seal? No. Um, the mop brushes, and if we have time and I'm not going too long, which I went pretty fast here, so I might be able to demonstrate those for you also. So this is just a corner kind of a stencil, and this is canvas paper, so it's just like a piece of canvas or a canvas. You can do canvas paper and then you can frame it if you don't want to do um, a big canvas. You know, you can always do just the canvas pad. Did everybody see that? This is just a canvas paper. There's 10 sheets in there, and it's 115 pound. I just usually get them when they're on sale at Michael's. Nice thing about these squared or rectangles, you can line them up in the corner so that you know everything's even and you're not trying to place it around. You can also tape it down with your painter's tape so that it doesn't move. All right, any question? Congratulations on the anniversary. Thank you. And you love the CCs. Awesome. That's music to my ears. I better do the same thing. I'm going to kind of rub it in, and I'm going to take some off, and I'm going to add a little bit of white. These are acrylics now that I'm using, okay? And rub that off so I get a little bit lighter. And which way do I want to go? I want to do light out here. So same, this just happens to be a larger brush, but it's the same premium synthetic. Circle to the right, circle to the left. And I'm telling you, the shop towel is, they cost a little more, but you'll have such better results. And you won't get the fuzzies on the end. You won't be fighting that at all. Okay, so let's lift that up so you can see that. Isn't that nice? And so then I can go straight to my magenta. So I'm rubbing it in on the palette, then I'm taking off the wet excess. Circle to the right, circle to the left. They're nice and soft. I wished I'd bought a piece of fabric back here, but canvas is a fabric. I'm going to do some of this. I had request the shirt that I made for the convention that I posted. I am going to get that class scheduled. It'll be multiple classes because we can't do it all in one. And I am going to include some stenciling, see that, on the fabric also. Yeah, that berry wine is pretty thick. You're right, Lucy. So I'm going to start down here where it would be darker because I have that on my brush. So I'm going to start where I want it the darkest, and then I will have less on my brush as I get into the one that I just did. So it'll be a lighter value. All right, looky there. Isn't that nice? So you see the gradation from one to the other. So I just added the white and then went straight to magenta, then added the berry wine, started here and went up into it. That way there's less on the brush and it will give you a nice ombre effect. Where will the classes be? So I'm probably going to butcher your name. Is it Daphne? Is that right? I think that's correct. Are you talking about the fabric classes, Daphne, or any class? I usually announce them on Facebook, on my Facebook page. Okay, so watch there. Let's see what, while you're entering that. May I ask how you do various acrylic brands for ceramic compared to acrylics of an acrylic painter would use? Deb Gardner's asking this. So Deb, you know, there's all different companies. You know, Duncan had stains. I do not have any acrylics or stains, we call them. So for the last several years, I like the multi-surface. You can use these on your ceramic, absolutely, because they have a sealer in it. You don't have to spray seal them. They will seal, okay, by themselves. It's great, okay? Now, there is other companies out there. I use, help me out, Deco Art. I've got a ton of those. I have these, gosh, years ago, Ceramichrome used to have softies, was it? Or maybe Mako has those now. So there's all different, they would all work the same way. If they're in a liquid acrylic, and I just stuck my finger in there, like I'm showing you here, there would be no difference. It doesn't matter what the brand. There's full body acrylics, which are tubes. So, I mean, there's different variation, but an acrylic is an acrylic. Does that make sense? Hopefully. Um, and sometimes it depends on what you're wanting to do. So Janet says, Paula, is your Zen plate? Yeah, I'm doing the Zen this Saturday at 2 o'clock Central, 2 to 5. So you can still sign up for that, and I will send you the PDF. And then on Friday, I will send out the Zoom link. So absolutely, you can still just type in webinars or go to education. I can show you that. Let's go back over here to the website. So at the top under education, you go down to learn here. And actually, if you just go to downloadable, click on any of those drop downs. And then over here on this left-hand side, you can, I even had folk art acrylic painting ones that you can still go out there and purchase my ornaments and things. Glass downloadable, ceramic downloadable, webinars. So if you click on ceramic webinars, right now I don't have any glass ones. And then here's the Zen plate. And you click on it and you can purchase that. And you'll have the link forever. Okay, any special way to clean the stencils? You know what? That's a good question, Teresa. It doesn't matter what products you're using. I take it to the sink and I spray it. But the other thing, and I don't have any back here, that one of the other acrylic artists, I'm looking to see if I happen to have any somewhere, hand sanitizer will take off the acrylics. Okay? So, to me. So just spray it, in the sink. But hand sanitizer, you can put that on a brush, a clean brush, and kind of rub over it, and that'll take some of the acrylics off of there. So that's a good way to clean it. Okay, so Janet, I answered your question. So fabric class. Okay, so I will announce it, and it will be underneath, because I'm using Folk Art Fabric Ink, Fabric Creations, Fabric Ink. So it's an ink, it dyes the fabric, and I do not have that back here. I have, hold on, let me go to the overhead, and give me 2 seconds. I can reach and show you one. It's not done yet, but here is an example of some of the things I do. So this is fabric inks. I use the Stencil, I freehand, and it's absolutely as soft as can be. It's wonderful. You can use regular acrylics, but I prefer to use the fabric inks, and hopefully I didn't put that in my paint. But I will announce it. I'll get that done this week and get it up there, because it's going to be like a 2 or a 3 class. Okay. Will it be in person? Yes, it'll be a Zoom class. So you'll be able to show me your work. And like I said, we're going to probably do it in, because that shirt, gosh, there's a lot there to do. So maybe 3 classes, and we'll do like 2-hour sessions. And then we'll have it scheduled out. I need to check some other schedules so I'm not overlapping with myself and other people doing things to make it more accessible for you guys. Brushes used with your products can be used with the acrylics also. Okay, so Ginger, that is a great question. Yes, they can, but my rule of thumb is I don't use the same set of brushes for fired products and non-fired products. So this one particular stencil brush, because now these are a little bit different, but normally I don't, because most people will not rinse and clean their brushes well. That's why I say don't do that, because if you have acrylics in your brush, you're using fired product, you transfer it to your piece, you stick it in the kiln, it's going to burn off, but it can leave a blemish. So I would keep those brushes separate. That is a great statement. Okay, alcohol is good for cleaning acrylic brushes. Yes, as long alcohol will help get residue out, and it doesn't matter what it is, but definitely for acrylics, if you alcohol or vodka, whichever you happen to have in the house, But you would not put it up over the I mean, up maybe a little bit onto the ferrule. You wouldn't want it like the whole cup. Okay, let it sit in there and then take it and rinse it out. If you've not been on one of my brush classes, do not use Dawn detergent on your brushes because it has a degreaser. It's going to get into the ferrule. It's going to loosen the glue that holds the brush together, and it could possibly, the handle could fall off too. And I'll sell you another one if you want to use Dawn. It's great for duck feathers, removing grease and oil and all that, but I don't use it. I just use a bar of soap, and I'm going to go again. So just put you a bar of Ivory or Dove soap, and let's just pretend I'm not going to rinse these out because I'll take these to the sink. But if I had a brush like this and it was wet, I would just brush it back and forth to get the soap in it and then take it into my hand. And if I see color coming out, then I'm going to rinse it, and I'm going to do it again until I just again and again until I don't see any color coming out of it. That's for your fired products. Okay. I still wouldn't use Dawn on your non-fired, your acrylics either, on your brushes that you use for acrylics. It's gonna degrade the glue that holds the bristles in. I have a brush company, so I'm telling you the God honest truth. Don't use Dawn, please, or I'll just sell you some more. But I don't want to do that. I want you to learn how to use your products, your brushes, your tools, so that they last you a lifetime. I've got brushes that I've been painting with for 30 years, and that's just because you take care of them. Don't stand your brushes up to dry, with the bristles at the top. If you have something that would hang them this direction, that would be fine, but just lay them flat on a paper towel and let them dry. If you can't clean them after class, roll them up in a paper towel, take them home and clean them. But don't stand them up because the water runs down in, loosens the glue. It'll cause the lacquer to come off the wood. It'll make the wood loosen. Okay, so it makes a difference on how you treat your brushes, and it makes a difference on the brush. These are a metal ferrule. They're crimped really, really nice. It's got a nice large handle to hold on to because you're doing, a lot with it. If you've got a tiny, tiny handle, it makes it harder. So the larger the handle, the barrel of the handle here, makes it nice and easy to work with too. So Ginger said, that's what I thought. I mistakenly ordered 2 sets. I guess I will use, yeah, I have a set of Sumi brushes that I use for my acrylics, and I have a set of Sumi that I use for my fired. Whether it's ceramic or glass, it's still fired product. That's okay. But if you go to acrylics, you want to use a separate brush. Okay? Great to know. Yeah, Deborah, don't use Dawn, please. And I've been saying that for 25 plus years. So, okay, let's check the other questions over here. I will use Dawn, stand up my brushes. No, you won't, and buy more from you. Don't do that. I want you to last for a lifetime. Of course, the more you use a brush, it's going to wear down, and especially if you're using it on bisque, or let's say you're painting with acrylics on wood versus canvas. The wood is harsher on the brush, so use an older brush or keep a brush for base coating in that case, and then use your good brushes to do your stroke work with. That would be my suggestion. I will be waiting for them to stand up and dry. Teresa, no. You're funny. You're just doing that just to see if you'll get a rise out of me. I know. Alcohol is not good. You can use alcohol to get, like, if you have acrylic in your brush and it's made it really fat at the ferrule. Let me go to the overhead because I hate myself. If you have it where it's really thick, I know you can't see that because I've got that there. So it's real thick and bushy where a lot of acrylic gets down into the ferrule, which is the metal portion. Then yes, sometimes we need to put it in some alcohol or vodka. Like I said, you would put it in like a cup, put about a half an inch in it, and then just let it sit in there for a little while. And then same thing, work it out, rinse it, soap, and it will help correct that. Now, if you have like a hair that goes wonky on your favorite liner, remember when your brushes are dry, they are bushy. When they're wet, just like our hair on our head. You know, our hair when it's dry, it can be bushier, and when it's wet, then they come to a nice chisel edge. Okay, so don't think it's bad brush. It's because it's dry. See, that one is kind of dry. Let's go closer. But the moment I wet that brush, and we used to say if you wet it and I'm going to have water everywhere, you kind of go like that, it'll give it to a nice point and you're good to go. But if you have a wild hair on a brush, you can take your hair conditioner that you use on your own hair, put it into the bristles, and this is really the liner brushes are the ones that we have the problem with a lot. Put that conditioner in it and then lay it flat in the freezer for a couple of hours. That's right, the freezer, because it's going to harden that. So what are you going to do when you take that out and get ready to use it? You're going to rinse it in the water, just swish it in water. You're not going to rake it across anything, just swish it to remove it, just like you wet your hair when you shampoo. So you're going to wet the brush and swish it out. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. But I use the alcohol if I have acrylics that's in there and I can't get it out. That's a good way to it kind of starts dissolving it and getting it out. But when you do that, if you're using a natural hair brush, you will need to kind of put your conditioner back in there because you've basically stripped the hairs of anything that was on there. So if it's a sable brush or a natural hair brush, I would definitely put my conditioner, my hair conditioner back on there and then just leave it flat to dry. And then before you use it the next time, you can rinse that out. Okay. Did I miss any other questions? Let me look real quick. I think that's it. Okay. Hopefully that we've got into brushes more than I intended, but hopefully that gives you some good information, right? So let me grab my water bowl over here. So this happens to be Donna Dewberry's little palette. So it has like a rake in here. Now, I wouldn't go back and forth with these, but if I just drag one way, so it's like little stair steps in there. And look, that black is already gone out of that brush. How easy was that? So let's do the blue one. We've had that in there quite a while. So I'm just pulling it, lifting, pulling, lifting. You can also just tap it in the bottom and work that out. See how that, now it's still got stuff in it, yes, because I'm going to take it to the sink and I'm going to put soap, some of that ivory soap in my hand, and I'm going to work it out. So here's our acrylic one. Same thing, I'm going one direction. I'm not going back and forth and I'm turning the brush over so that I can get all sides of that brush. And then I'm going to pounce it and I'm going to wring it out. I usually have like a dirty, less dirty, clean. That's the way I paint with whatever I do, just FYI. You can do it with acrylics, you can do it with your underglazes, your enamels. Now your acrylics have a stain in them. They're going to stain it a little bit, but this will come out. You may see a little bit of coloring in there. I've got one of these other ones that has a little bit of a green tint and that's not mold. It's just whatever I used. It was a strong pigment, so it was in there. So I will still take these to the sink and continue to clean them. Okay? Hopefully that gives you some basic information on that. What time? We're an hour. I know some of you wanted to see or had asked me, I can do another live about the mop brushes for the acrylics, which it would still work anyway. So if I'm going to use the mops, we'll do it really quickly, okay? I don't want to take up a whole bunch of your time. You guys don't want to spend the whole night with me, right? No. I would use floating medium. So let me to the overhead. So Folk Art floating medium, I would use it. And instead of water, and let me get this over here where you can see it. So if you dampen your brush, I'm going to just dampen with the floating medium because I can coat an area also with it. And I don't know that you can kind of see that that's wet. So this is acrylics. Okay. I can dip into a color and I can grab that floating medium also. And this is a canvas pad, remember, so you can do kind of a slip slap with it. But I put down some floating medium first. What that's going to do is allow me to move and manipulate the color. So I mean, whether you're doing like skies where you're going from a blue down to your green on the grass. Let's grab a little bit of this. Let's see if we can. So you could come in there and do. So this is a white goat hair. So it's a natural hair. It's soft. Or you can just kind of just do it completely if you're just trying to feather in. Or, I mean, look at this. I can go back over this stencil and put in, and this is a brand new brush, so I have some hairs that are coming off. And you could put in the background over the top of that because it's already dry. So if you said, you know what, I don't want just the white canvas, I want something else in there so that it's not stark white. And that's how you could do it. And I could come in here and grab some white if I wanted to kind of give it a mist. So floating medium and then a little bit of the white, work it into my brush, and then just come in and softly add that over the top. And you've got that fog on your scenery, your landscapes, or if you're just trying to set something back further than what it is. So you can see how it completely changed that look. I would love to spend all night with you, but I have to get back to work. I know, Teresa. We're going to get together when you get back in town. Thank you, dear, for hanging out with me. All right. Okay, so hopefully that's a little bit more than I was intending on doing, but hopefully that gives you some ideas. So the mops are available in a half inch and a 3/4 inch. And I think we have an inch one out there too, if you're looking for a little bit bigger one for larger areas. But they are natural hair, so treat them nicely. No Dove or no Dawn detergent, only Dove or Ivory or something that's, think about it as how you would treat your own hair. That's the best way to look at it. If it's natural hair, treat it nicely just like you do your own hair. Okay, guys? All right, any other last minute questions before I sign off? We kind of hit a whole bunch of different things tonight. Okay. Yeah, if you take care of your brushes, it makes a huge. A Master's brush cleaner is great. Plaid has one. I don't have it sitting here. I like it. I have it at my sink. My teacher told me to use cornstarch on the brush bristles. If they're thoroughly cleaned, it will stiffen. You can do that. You can if you want. Just don't forget to rinse it out. You don't want it to get into your product that you're using. Thank you, Miss Luann. All right, guys. I'm going to sign off. I'm exhausted still, and I still have so much to do. So I will see you next week. Hopefully there won't be any interruptions. And until then, happy painting.